Tonight, the Yankees are in Boston to take on the Red Sox in the first of a 9-game stretch that will determine their postseason fate. On the hill and looking for his 16th victory of the season, Gerrit Cole, who seeks to reverse his 2021 fortunes versus the Red Sox. Is this a wild card preview? We'll find out in a couple of weeks, but for now, it's a must-win. Recap, your reactions, next. This is Yankees Game Night. I got a fever, and the only prescription is more winning. Big night for the Yankees in Beantown. They come out of the gates swinging. 1 down, 8 to go in this 9-game gauntlet. We have a poll running for the belt, and the team is included this time. A little bit of a team belt action. They won it together as a group last time, and they're clinging by 1 point right now. Stanton had a big night. We'll check in after the recap. And look, I get that the Red Sox City Connect uniforms are supposed to honor the Boston Marathon and whatnot, but I just find them optically destructive. I hope they don't wear them all weekend. It was giving me a headache to look at those uniforms. They were just, they were terrible.
It's awful.
Also, you shouldn't be allowed to be called the Red Sox if you don't actually wear red socks. Yanks put the Red Sox on the ropes right out of the gate with back-to-back singles to start the game tonight. And then Judge made it 1-0 with a 112-plus mile-per-hour double off the center field wall. 90th RBI of the season for Aaron Judge. Giancarlo Stanton grounds out to make it 2-0. Good job putting a tough pitch in play. It was a slider. Gleyber Torres makes it 3-0 with an RBI single. He had a good night. So right away, both of my X factors are off to a good start. Judge and Gleyber Torres. That's from this morning's Frieze if you missed it. So I was feeling good about it from the start. Yankees turned a beautiful double play in the bottom of the first. Rizzo with an unbelievable scoop over there. Just 11 pitches in the first inning for Gerrit Cole after Eovaldi had to throw 27. Eovaldi responds by throwing just 7 in the top of the second. Scoreless top of the second. Gerrit Cole pitches a scoreless second as well. Picks up his first 2 strikeouts. Really had the curveball working early tonight. He was touching 100 miles an hour on the radar gun. Looked nasty. Looked much better than his last time out. Control was, pretty good. He did have 3 walks tonight, which is more than he usually has. But overall, no complaints about Gerrit Cole. Rizzo hit a Wade Boggs-esque double off of the monster to lead off the top of the third. And then Giancarlo Stanton, opposite field bullet for his 32nd home run of the year to make it 6-0. 4 RBI by the third inning tonight from Giancarlo. Gallo follows up with a single, and Nathan Eovaldi was looking very much like he did when he was a Yankee, which is hittable. Say what you want about Giancarlo, too, because he's been clutch. I've been as hard on him as anybody, but you think back about his Yankees career. 2018 wildcard game, hits a home run against Oakland. 2020 playoffs, goes bonkers. Big moments all season from Giancarlo this year. I gotta have more Giancarlo, baby. Red Sox blow a pop-up from Higashioka, allowing Joey Gallo, who was hustling all the way, to score. And I get, you're running with 2 outs on contact, but Gallo was really hustling. And I noticed that start to finish every single night, Joey Gallo's hustling. I love that about him. We get on the guys who don't hustle, but we got to recognize the guys who really play hard. And I think Gallo's one of those guys. Red Sox didn't get their first hit until the bottom of the fourth, a double by J.D. Martinez. Stan picked up a double, his 3rd hit of the game in the top of the 6th. Triple short of the cycle tonight for Giancarlo. It's going to be tough for Giancarlo to hit a triple. I don't think he's hit a triple in like 3 or 4 years. But he did hit one in his final, or maybe his final at bat. That died just in front of the warning track. So he almost had 2 home runs tonight. Red Sox did get to Cole in the bottom of the 6th, a 3-run home run from Devers. Cut the Yankees' lead to 4 runs. Really wasn't a bad pitch. He wasn't commanding his changeup great tonight, but it was still a low and away pitch with sink maybe up a little bit, and Devers just went out and hooked it. So it was a nice play by, or nice swing by Devers. Glaber gets one right back immediately with a solo home run to lead off the top of the 7th. Cole was done after 6 innings. Final line, 5 hits, 3 runs, 6 strikeouts, gets his 16th win of the year. Clay Holmes came in for the 7th. He got into a little bit of trouble, but Peralta came in and got him out of it. Glaber picked up his 3rd hit of the night in the top of the 9th. He's up to 261. Yankees hang on to win their 4th consecutive game. They snapped the Red Sox 7-game win streak. Boston is currently, I believe, 1 game ahead in the loss column from the Yankees. And right now, Toronto appears to be losing 3-1 in the top of the 9th. So this could be a very good night for the Yankees. Mr. John Sterling.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
And we do have an ending result to the poll after 238 votes. We do have a winner, and it is not a team belt tonight, but we're going to award it anyway. Belt winner! Congratulations to Mr. John Carlos Stanton, and the Blue Jays just lost. So, huge night for the Yankees. Dun, 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 dun. Awesome. So that's overall a very good night for the Yankees. Obviously, the offense showed up, 8 runs. Sean Browning is pointing out that Voit was on the bench again. And when the team wins, I mean, you really can't complain about the lineup because they got it done. I think the Yankees had 15 hits tonight. 50, was it 15? Yeah, 15 hits tonight to go along with their 8 runs. Just 3 walks. I felt like they were being more aggressive. They were swinging at those pitches that were hanging out right over the plate. And it looks like, you know, if this trend continues where the Blue Jays are slowing down a little bit, they've lost a couple to the Twins. Yankees have won 4 straight. Could have an exciting wild card game between the Yankees and the Red Sox. That will be interesting. It'll be really interesting to see what Garrett Cole and Chris Sale can do if they face off against each other. That would be absolutely a must-see. Yankees for Life says, God, those Boston uniforms make me want to barf. They look like European soccer uniforms.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, they're terrible. And I get it. They're designed to, honor the Boston Marathon. But they're just so bright. They just don't fit in. And the blue hats, it was tough on my eyes to look at the entire time. I'm not used to looking at anything that bright for 3 hours. I had to keep looking away. Mike Bragg with a great point says, Yankees have so many weapons in the pen now. Severino, Herman, King. Mike King needs a lot of credit. He's been great. Holmes, been pitching pretty well. Peralta, Green, Chapman, and Johnny Lasagna going to be back soon. I agree. That could be, that could be a big development. I'm looking for the right word. A big development for the postseason. If the Yankees can get through that wild card round, a lot of times in the postseason, the bullpen can win it for you. The Yankees basically won it with their bullpen in 96. We saw the Royals win it with their bullpen a couple of years ago. It can be done. But as someone says here, Dean Jones, please don't get too cocky. One at a time. We have won 4 in a row, though, Dean Jones. I think a little bit of celebration is in order. Lori C says, who's pitching tomorrow? Mr. Nestor Cortez will be on the mound tomorrow. And then we've got Jordan Montgomery on the mound on Sunday. So that'll be fun. Let's see. Francisco says UCLA uniforms. Yeah, they were kind of similar to the UCLA uniforms, but I don't know. They look a lot uglier in Fenway Park with the green. It just doesn't look right. Let's see here. Deidre Key says, sorry, I don't miss Voit, but it was fun mashing Boston in their cutesy-wootsy uniforms. Yeah, I feel like they're going to have to switch it up tomorrow. The luck that they were getting from those has run out tonight. THG says, even when we don't play the Twins, we still own them. Thank you, Twins. Yeah, the Twins doing God's work tonight, beating the Blue Jays. Micah says, Red Sox looked like the jockeys at the Kentucky Derby. That's pretty good. Carrie Minervi says, I love Nestor.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Me too. Mike Bragg says, they said Jameson Taillon will be back next week. Yeah, Jameson Taillon is supposed to pitch in the Blue Jays series. Look, the starters are getting healthy at the right time. It'll be interesting to see what Corey Kluber does between now and the end of the season. Now's when you need him to step up. You know, you can't save him for the playoffs. You got to see what he has right now to determine if you can even use him in the playoffs. If he's not pitching well going into the playoffs, I wouldn't even keep him on the roster. I would use that roster spot for somebody like Luis Severino, an extra arm out of the pen. PXNA says, Cole versus Sale, please be at Yankee Stadium. If the Yankees win every game for the rest of the season, they're guaranteed that would happen at Yankee Stadium. Now, they're probably not going to do that because that would be another 12-game win streak. I don't know if any team has ever had a 13-game win streak and a 12-game win streak in the same season. I don't think it's ever happened. But if they did that, then they would obviously have less losses than the Red Sox. Let's see here. Roger Bouchard says, love your flaming Yankees cap. So I put the fire on when win streaks happen. If you get 3 wins in a row, I consider that hot. Winning 3 games in a row is a win streak. And so it will remain on for every win going forward. We started that during the 13-game win streak. Let's see here. Joshua Cologne says Clay Holmes laid an egg. I wouldn't necessarily say he laid an egg. He got the first 2 outs really quickly on, good movement that came in on the hands. And then he gave up a couple of hits. He didn't have the strikeout pitch working tonight, the swing and miss pitch. But, Peralta came in and did the job, got him out of it. Michael Allen says, would Taillon start if he came back? Yeah, I think they would start Jameson Taillon. At this point, you need as many. Everybody's worn out. You need as many guys in that rotation as you can use. And you want to keep Garrett Cole rested. You want to make sure that he's rested and ready to go should you need him in a wild card game. Let's see here. James Millard says, we need postseason Glaber back. So I mentioned it today that since mid-July or so, he's batting roughly 300. So he's getting hits. He's not hitting for a ton of power. He hit a home run tonight. I noticed he's not swinging as hard. And that's all that's really going to take for him. Have an under-control swing. Isaac Garcia says, will Loizaga make a return? Yeah, they said that he should be back soon. So we should have him, this week, next couple of days probably. And that's going to change this bullpen. We got a few people saying that they don't trust Corey Kluber. A few people saying they want him to step up. I think Corey Kluber is one of those guys who can give you, at this point, one trip through the order in a big spot. I wouldn't trust him in a big game to go through the order in like the 4th inning, 5th inning. Give me 3 shutout innings. Use him as basically an opener. I just don't trust the strength of that shoulder. David Cohn said that Corey Kluber's kind of a marksman, right? He relies on pinpoint location and movement. That means a lot of pitches if you don't have your location because he's nibbling. He's trying to throw those breaking balls to certain spots. He's trying to get the fastball to sink and cut in certain areas. And when it's not hitting its spots, as it hasn't been, it means a lot of pitches. And so he wears out a little bit early. You notice the days where he pitches really well, he doesn't walk guys. It's because he's got his command. So, and E says, doesn't he suck in the playoffs? Only against Didi. No, I'm not really sure what his career playoff numbers are, other than against the Yankees, but I know the Yankees handled him pretty well in 2017. Sean Browning says Higgy or Sanchez for the wild card. That's a good question. I'd probably go with Higashioka. In a wild card game, you're going to have Garrett Cole on the mound. It's important that those guys, the pitcher and the catcher, have a really good relationship. You don't want them battling it out. Go with who's comfortable. And Higashioka's a good defender. And he can pick up hits. I mean, he occasionally runs into a home run. He gets big hits once in a while. He doesn't have the prodigious power of Gary Sanchez, but he's a solid player. I know he doesn't hit for a high average, but I trust Higgy in one game. I feel like he could run into a hit. He doesn't hit great pitchers, usually, but he'll pick up his hits. Roger Bouchard says, will the Yankees sweep the Sox this weekend? Well, we're 33% of the way there, but as John Sterling says, you can't predict baseball, Susan. Stuck says, you want to play Astros or the Rays in the ALDS? I think I would rather play the Rays, just because I want to get the Rays out of the way. I feel like the Yankees play the Rays pretty tough. It'll be interesting to see what happens, how the Rays play the Yankees in the final 3 games of the season, knowing that they could face them again in a couple of days. You don't want to rest all your guys because then, you might get them cold before the division series. And you don't want to play everybody too much because one injury, one freak hit by pitch can take a guy out for the playoffs. And you don't want guys playing too hard either because you don't want to pull in a hammy. It'll be interesting to see what happens. A lot of people were worried about those last 3 games, Yankees versus Rays. I think the Rays are going to have home field advantage settled by then. And I think they're just going to kind of give everybody 1 or 2 at-bats a game, get them out of there like a spring training game. And I think the Yankees are going to have a real chance to feast on their bullpen because they're not going to be throwing their top arms. So, we'll see how it works out. Yankees says Gary didn't even play and he's getting flamed. I'm not gonna disagree with your take there. It is a little frustrating how much Gary gets hated on when he does occasionally have big games for us. I think Gary Sanchez has improved this year over last year. Now that's not hard to do. He was bad on both sides of the ball last year, but he's hit some big home runs. He hasn't been terrible behind the dish. His framing maybe a little bit better. He's still, about once a game lets one get by in a key spot, so that kind of sucks. But, I haven't been as disgusted by Gary Sanchez this year as I was last year. Let's see here. Shane says, if the Twins win one more game this weekend, give them the belt. Hell yeah. Martin Kalunga says Kluber did pitch well in the 2016 World Series. Also, the Mariners are creeping up. Let's see. Mohib says, how many wins are the Yankees behind to go into the wild card game? Right now, if the season were to end today, the Yankees would play in the wild card game in Boston against Boston. That's how it would end. But there's 8 games left, and Toronto's a couple of games back. So it's, the Yankees, if they win, they control their own destiny. I want the Yankees to win out. I want to see what this team is made of. I want to see them get 8 more in a row. Is that asking for too much? That would put them at 95 wins, which, looking back on the season, if you look at a 95-win season, you say, well, that's pretty good. But that would be like a 13-game win streak and a 12-game win streak, which isn't going to happen every year. I don't think this is a 95-win team. I think it's about a 92-win team. We'll see how it works out. Let's see here. You says Gary can finish with 25 home runs. Great for a catcher in my books. He does hit for power. I mean, nobody's going to argue that. But there's plays like that one against the Mets where he kind of gave up on the tag, didn't go down and make the tag in a key situation that cost the Yankees a run. He missed that pop up. There was the catchable wild pitch by Clay Holmes a couple of weeks ago, I don't even know how long ago it was, against, I want to say, the Orioles. Maybe it was the Indians. I don't know. They all run together at this point, but I feel like, there's been some big moments where Sanchez has let us down defensively. But yes, he's hit for power. Mason Wood with the Super Dono says, Clay Holmes should have gotten that strikeout. 100% agree. Appreciate the dono. No comment, just showing some love to the channel. Appreciate that, Ruben. Ruben is the man. Cruise control. Jason says, can't ask for 8 wins in a row. You know it needs to be 9. Actually, it needs to be another 13 because, it would be a 13-game win streak if the Yankees cut through the rest of the season and the wild card game. It's not out of the question, and they have something to shoot for. You say, hey, look, we got to win 13 in a row. We did it before. We did it a couple of months ago. We can do it again against good teams. And the Cardinals just won their 13th in a row today, so it can be done. Hi, 20 High says, are we turning the corner? It's a little late to turn the corner. I think the Yankees are doing what they do. They are, they're finding a way to stay in it. They are incredibly difficult to put away right now. But the way they've played this year, I'm surprised that they're making a run at this thing. Stone Cold says the Red Sox look like creamsicles. Yummy. Stone Cold. John Strausser says, what's the plan with Voit? Poor guy isn't even getting at bats. John. It's time to go to the John. So John, you've got an interesting question. Luke Voit, when he plays 3-4 games in a row, it seems like he always starts to hit. He always gets hot. But then you sit him a couple of days in a row and he cools off. And then inevitably when you bring him back in, he's cool for first couple of days. So it's really hard for him to put together a rhythm. But it's kind of his own fault. He kept getting hurt, And I think they might be afraid to play him too much. But I agree with you. I want his bat in there. Dean Jones says today they looked like the Yankees. Tim Burns says Cards played a doubleheader, so 14-game win streak. Did they win the second game? I didn't see the score of the second game, but it looks like they won the second game. That's awesome. 14 games. Yeah, that's amazing. 14. I hope they don't get to 23. I want to remain focused on the Yankees, and I don't want to have to watch Cardinals games to see them going for that record. TN Lung says, Luke's defense is suspect. You're not wrong. He's not a great defensive player. Martin Kalunga says, this season reminds me of how the Indian season was in Major League 1 and 2. And Bob Tramley with a dono. Appreciate that, Bob.
Excellent.
And John says, I agree, Voigt's defense is suspect compared to Rizzo. Yeah, Rizzo is a platinum glove type of guy. You can't compare those two. But, hey, it is what it is. Edward NG says, you can feel the momentum going in our direction. That's 4 straight wins. Yankees continue to move closer and closer to a playoff spot. I will see you guys after tomorrow's game. Nasty Nestor on the mound one more time, Mr. John Sterling.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Final question of the night goes to Michael Gonzalez. Do you feel bad for the Mets?
Nope.
Nope. Not one bit. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Special shout out to the Patreon supporters and anyone else who has supported this channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it the old thumbs up and subscribe for more Yankees content year round. If you really enjoyed it, check out the Frieze. It's the official podcast of this channel. Or pick up some swag from the Teespring store, link in the description. Thanks for watching.